The next item is new business. This will be presented by Catherine Czerniak, Director of Community Development. She will present consideration of a recommendation from the Plan Commission in support of a special use permit for Tocco, Simple Fresh Italian, a restaurant proposed in Westwood Center, 950 Northwestern Avenue. If desired by the City Council, waive first reading and grant final approval of the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This could have been on your omnibus agenda, but it seemed appropriate to celebrate yet another new restaurant and take just a few minutes to talk about it. We have added Tocco at the bottom of this list, anticipating your approval, so the list continues to grow. There are ongoing discussions with a few more restaurants as well. Tocco is proposed in Westwood Square, although I think we're calling it Westwood Court now, located on the southwest corner of Woodland and Western Avenue. It's a development that just a few years ago was in disrepair. We did have a local family purchase and do significant improvements, both inside the building and outside. Tocco is proposed to be located just to the north of Duffers Pub. So it's in the space, some of you may remember the space previously occupied by King Ma, and the space behind it that was occupied by Michael's Barbershop, which has moved across the courtyard. The space wasn't quite as big as Mr. Bruno Abate was hoping for. He was looking for 3,000 square feet of space, but we were able to work with him, be creative in working with the space, and also seasonally incorporating the outdoor courtyard to convince him, with some help from the mayor, to come to Lake Forest. He knows that many of his customers currently who go to Tocco in Winnetka live in Lake Forest. So he's not here tonight, but he did attend the Plan Commission meeting and provided a very colorful history of how he came to this country and how he started in the restaurant business. So he will be a very entertaining individual to operate a restaurant in Lake Forest. Plan Commission, as they always do, considered various aspects, recognizing this space used to be used for a restaurant, that other restaurants are successfully operating in this location, that this building has underground parking spaces as well as on-site parking, and is within easy walking distance of the public parking lots on the east side of McKinley Road. Early on, at this location, generally in this development, Burger King was located there. Some of you may remember we used to get a number of complaints, but with the new owners, really, they worked to control noise and hours and activity, and I'll knock on wood, but we have not received complaints since the opening of Duffers, and the restaurants in this locale really seem to be working and coexisting very well with the surrounding neighbors. This is before the City Council and was before the Plan Commission because it is a restaurant located within 150 feet of a residential zoning district. Restaurants that meet that criteria require a special use permit. Restaurants that are located further away from residential zoning districts do not require a special use permit and can simply move forward with opening. The Plan Commission, in a 4-0 vote, enthusiastically recommended approval of the restaurant and welcomed Mr. Abate to Lake Forest. If you choose to do so, it will be appropriate to waive first reading of the ordinance before you and grant final approval of Tocco, a restaurant within 150 feet of a residential zoning district. It's subject to a number of conditions, which are detailed in your ordinance and which are consistent with the conditions that apply to other residences and other restaurants within that same development. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any interested public comment on this matter? Hearing none. How about City Council? Any questions?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you. Kathy, a couple questions. One, has this building ever housed 4 restaurants before that were exciting places to be?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so my question then is just to touch on, which I'm sure has been commented, but employee parking. Where will their employees be parking?
There is a condition in your ordinance, I can't recite it word for word, but there is a requirement that employees park off-site. They cannot, there's also a prohibition, one of the conditions prohibits parking within the residential neighborhoods. So employees are required to park on the other side of the railroad tracks. And a number of years ago, I think when the grill on Laurel first went in, our Public Works Department increased the light under the Woodland Road underpass and improved some of the sidewalk connections. So it really, this is the perfect location. Again, it has underground parking, it has on-site parking, it has Western Avenue parking, after hours, perhaps parking in the Jewel lot. But employees are required to park off-site, and it is the obligation of not only the business owner, but the property owner to see that that happens.
And are they anticipating the use of valet parking? And again,
Yes.
I'm just looking at, are they gonna have spots that they need to block off? And maybe just touch on that like we had up the street.
And the Plan Commission did discuss that. We agreed that we would work with all the restaurants in that facility, in that development, to identify whether we need 15-minute pickup spaces. Tocco will not have its own delivery, but we do know there are delivery companies. Whether we need to block off spaces for valet. We did add signage up by Sophia Steak, so it's really a continuous discussion. We're in communication with the police department, with the restaurants, and we're really monitoring how the sites work. But it is that balance between having vitality and having activity and not being able to come in and park directly in front of the business that you want to go to.
Well, I just want to commend you and the rest of the city staff and working with the businesses to come in to bring this to fruition, because as you said, it's really important to have these driving factors for our residents to stay and spend their dollars here and not have to drive somewhere else. Thank you.
Are there other questions?
I don't see anything about a noise limit or hours for noise. You may remember that, might have been earlier this year, the council did approve a code amendment that allows outdoor speakers under certain conditions. It regulates the size of the speakers, it regulates the volume. Again, I can't recite it off the top of my head, but it does have specific decibel level. We do have a monitor that we can take out. But again, I will say, we have not received complaints.
With Duffers and a new place, especially in the summer when Duffers doors are open and you have activity in the courtyard, it's all hardscape. So there's a lot of echo, I would anticipate, in this courtyard area. So that's
And it is, again, that balance between activity, vitality, and peace and quiet. And it's an issue that we're aware of, and I think that we work very cooperatively with the business owners, and I think there's a benefit to the fact that the Duffers door is open on Western Avenue. And there is that transition area between those who choose to live immediately adjacent to the central business district certainly have some benefits. They can walk instead of drive to now a variety of restaurants. So it's tricky, but we're certainly aware of it.
Will there be a curfew? Will there be a time at which the noise has to just stop?
It's very difficult to say that all noise needs to stop. I know our liquor licenses, and I look to Biddy Boyer, our liquor license.
They end at midnight.
Okay, this license for Tocco is still midnight?
You have not yet seen the license for Tocco. We're going to get a little bit closer before we bring the liquor license. The proposed hours
Till 10.
are till 10 here. The benefit of Tocco will have is that they will have the internal courtyard in that development. So it is really muffled. If noise becomes an issue, I'm confident that we'll address it.
Are there other questions? Okay, I have one question. Are they planning on having essentially garage doors on the face similar to Duffers or no?
Undecided. We've talked to Mr. Abate about that. He's pondering whether that really is the character of the restaurant that he wants. He has strong opinions and some. I think the space will be very exciting.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I would like for a motion to waive first reading and grant final approval of an ordinance. Can I finish? Of an ordinance approving a special use permit for Tocco at Westwood Center, 950 Northwestern Avenue, in accordance with the Plan Commission's recommendation.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Waldeck.
Aye.
Alderman Notes.
Aye.
Alderman Powers.
Aye.
Alderman Preschlack.
Aye.
Alderman Kashmirian.
An enthusiastic aye.
Alderman Weber.
Aye.
Alderman Walder.
Aye.
Alderman Novit.
Aye.
8 yeas, 0 nay, motion carries.
Excellent.